Hey everybody, it's Sean here from VidGamiac.com, and here we are today back in the Final Fantasy X HD Remaster doing part 7 of our Dark Aeon Guide. We are covering Dark Anima today. Same team as always, Titus, Waka, Riku. Highly recommend you have a pretty upgraded Yuna as well, especially in the agility department. As for our equipment, we're going to stick to our celestial weapons for the first 3, and then you definitely want ultimate armors on everyone. Auto Haste, Auto Phoenix, Auto Protect, and Ribbon. If you are too lazy to grind out the Dark Matters for the Ribbon, Stoneproof is also a great secondary, but you definitely want to have Ribbon on at least Riku. Alright, before you start the fight, it's time to do some prep work. So make sure you hit up the airship and then go to Rin. We are going to have to buy some supplies since this fight is pretty taxing. So go to the item shop and make sure you pick up as many remedies, holy waters, and phoenix downs you can carry. So by now you should have a ton of cash, so feel free to splurge on all of the goodies here. So make sure you buy 99 of each if you can. Once you have all of that, it's time to make sure you move them to the top of your inventory list. You don't want to waste time messing about your inventory because that's kind of annoying. Once you have all that stuff in line, it's time to start the fight. Head back to Sid, and you want to hit up the Mount Gagazet fast travel. So head on over there, and it's time to actually get Dark Anima unlocked. Hit up the warp pad, and you want to go to the cave entrance. Once you arrive, make sure you use a No Encounters armor if you have it. We are going to have to do a little bit of walking and swimming, so make sure you head down the left side of the cave until you hit up the water, and obviously there are going to be enemies along the way if you don't have No Encounters on. Make sure you go for a swim, just swim straight. You are going to have to redo one of the puzzles from earlier on in the story. So once you get to the other side, there is going to be this puzzle. It's one of those you have to throw the blitz ball and try to hit a target at the right time. If you miss, you're going to have to fight a random encounter that is not avoidable thanks to no encounters, so that might get a little annoying if you're not so good at this. My best advice is to keep your eyes on the interior shell and to make sure you throw when you have an opening there. And as for timing, you want to use the exterior shell and you want to throw it when it's at the second to last spike before the opening. If you manage to get the timing down and hit the target, Dark Anima is going to appear back at the entrance to the mountain. So obviously we need to head back there. So just backtrack the way you came. You can also hit up the warp pad and teleport back if you are lazy. So once you are back, highly recommend making a save, especially if you had a hard time with that blitzball puzzle. So make a save. It shouldn't count against you, unlike some of the other Dark Aeons. So make that save, and then you just go up to it and then touch it in order to start the fight. As for the actual fight itself, you want to start out like we've been doing, which is to use Riku's Mix Overdrive, mix a Lunar Current with a Gambler Spirit to throw up Hyper Mighty G. In this case, our main objective is not to get Auto Life, but to get Shell, actually, and I'll explain why that is more important later on. Overdrives are going to be not very useful in this, so you're better off handing your overdrives over to Riku via Entrust. So with Titus and Waka, make sure if you have overdrives on them to give them to Riku. As you can see, overdrives aren't going to do a terrible amount of damage, and you're better off just sticking to using our quick hit pinata strategy. Besides not having the super long turn delay that overdrives usually come with, you can also take the overdrives that you build up with Titus and Waka and just feed them to Riku. The reason for that is you want to have her be able to hit Hyper Mighty G whenever possible. As for the defensive side of things, Anima is going to have 3 normal attacks on top of her overdrive. First off is her normal attack, which should do physical damage. However, we do have auto protect on everyone, which should soften the blow a bit. The problem is it puts some nasty status conditions on you, most notably Petrify and Shatter, which thankfully, thanks to Stoneproof and Ribbon, should protect us. Unfortunately, it will also put Poison, Zombie, and Curse on everyone. Poison and Zombie are protected thanks to Ribbon. However, any non-Ribbon people that we were too lazy to get and instead put Stoneproof on are vulnerable to those, so keep that in mind. And Curse is not protected by Ribbon, which is why we bought so many Holy Waters. We only want to really use our Holy Waters on Riku since she's the only one we're focused on giving our overdrives to. With everyone else, you can put Holy Waters on them if you have a spare turn. However, if they do go down, Curse is removed once we pick them back up, so keep that in mind as well. We're better off having them die and then bringing them back to get rid of their Curse instead of wasting turns using Holy Water to heal them up. As for her second move, it is going to be Pain, which inflicts death on whoever it hits. This is not warded against thanks to Death Proof, so if you're thinking of coming into this fight with Death Proof armors, it's not going to help you out too much since Pain will kill you regardless. So with that in mind, it is easy to avoid because it can only target one person at a time, and you have another 2 players on the team with Auto Phoenix. They will usually pick up the other person thanks to a Phoenix down. So in the meantime, while you are using the quick hit pinata strategy, you want to keep an eye out on Anima's health bar. Once it's full, you want to keep throwing out attacks until you get to your last turn in your current attack rotation. Once you get to the last turn, you want to switch out whoever character the turn is on for Yuna. Once Yuna's out, make sure you summon an Aeon. And the reason we're doing this is something called Aeon Sponging. So basically, on our last turn, we use it to switch out to Yuna and have her summon an Aeon. And we have this Aeon do whatever, so if you have an overdrive handy, you can do that if you want to do a ton of damage. It's not going to help out too much, but the main reason is Anima is going to throw out her overdrive on her next attack turn, which is going to be Oblivion. It's pretty much impossible to survive in Oblivion with a normal player unless you break the HP limit, and obviously we put our armor perks towards something else. Not only does it do that, it will drain all of your MP, which will put you at a severe handicap for the rest of the fight. So instead of dealing with that, we're just going to have an Aeon take the brunt of the force. So basically, have your Aeons take any Oblivions, and basically you can last the entire fight as long as you have enough Aeons to take all of the hits. And you are limited by the number of Aeons you have. So in other words, if you have every single Aeon unlocked, you have the ability to survive up to 8 Anima Oblivions, so keep that in mind. That's the time frame you have with dealing with her. Alright, now that we have survived the first Oblivion, once your team gets back, I highly recommend casting Haste on Yuna. That way, the next time we need to bring her out, she is going to have a faster turn rotation. So put Haste on her, and then once you get to her, make sure you switch her back out for Riku. Once you get to this part, the strategy is going to end up being the same. Make sure you're using your quick hit pinata strategy and keeping an eye on Anima's overdrive bar. Once it gets full, remember to switch out to Yuna and then summon an Aeon Sponge. Other than that, you want to make sure you keep filling Riku's overdrive bar up whenever you can, so try your best to get it to full. If not, use Titus and Wakka's Entrust to give her overdrive bars. Make sure you use Holy Water to get rid of Curse, that way you can build your overdrive bars. If for whatever reason you are struggling with putting overdrives into Riku, you can also use Shell, so just use a normal Shell spell and make sure everyone has Shell on. And the reason we are so focused on putting Shell on everyone is for Anima's third move, which is going to be Mega Graviton, which is quite the brutal move. So on the subject of Mega Graviton is it will always hit you for 7/16 of your total health unless you have Shell on. If you have Shell on everyone, it should mitigate the damage to about 2100 or so. Not only that is it's going to put some nasty status conditions on your players who don't have Ribbon. So it's going to put Doom, Slow, Silence, Darkness, and Sleep on everyone. So this is going to be a pretty big deal for your players that don't have Ribbon. A remedy does help, however, it's not going to get rid of Doom, so the character is going to die after 5 turns. So with that in mind, if you have a pretty significant overdrive bar on them, I highly recommend using Entrust and giving that to Riku. That way, when they get picked up thanks to Auto Life or Auto Phoenix, you can start using Riku's overdrive and then throwing out another Hyper Mighty G, because when they do go down, their shell is going to go away when they come back to life. So, other than these few key things to note, the fight is actually pretty simple. It's a little on the longer side since Anima has quite a ridiculous health bar. The fight should take anywhere from 20 minutes to half an hour using the quick hit strategy and making sure you summon Aeon Sponges whenever you are about to be hit with an overdrive. As long as you keep Shell on everyone, the other attacks shouldn't hurt you too badly. The only one that can really kill your team is Mega Graviton if you're not prepared for it, so make sure you prepare for it by putting Shell on everyone. Other than that, Oblivion is completely protected against as long as you have Aeons in the rotation. So whenever she's about to hit her overdrive, make sure you throw an Aeon out, have the Aeon take the hit, and you should be good. Once everyone's back in line, quick hit Pinata, and you should get the win. So because this is such a long fight, you may find yourself in a situation where you are about to run out of MP. In this case, you should be good with just using either 1 Mega Elixir or a 3 stars, whichever one you want to afford to waste. Personally, for me, it took a total of 4 Oblivion rotations in order to get this fight done, so I was able to do this using 4 Aeon Sponges. Once you land the finishing blow, you should defeat her. We have one more set of Dark Aeons to go through in the next part, so check back soon for that. And that's all there is to it.